All right, yeah. Want to congratulate TCU. It's a hell of a ball game. Obviously, our guys are, really disappointed. Kind of started this journey with this team, about I guess a little less than a month ago, and we could tell pretty quickly that this team was going to be unique, in that not completely the team we played with this year, and not completely the team that we played with next year. And our kind of mantra the entire time was this team really gets one game together, and had new leadership. Obviously, a lot of players playing, and the most reps that they've been able to play, guys playing different positions, and we just really tried to embrace that. And I give our team a lot of credit. I mean, I think anybody that watched us play tonight, our guys battled like crazy. They really wanted to win this game. They wanted to win it for each other. Fought, obviously did a lot of good things to put ourselves in position to win it, but we, at the end of the day, we had to kick too many field goals, and they scored touchdowns in the red zone when we didn't, and that was really the tale of the game. So, yeah, disappointed, for our kind of one-game season here to not win this one. But obviously, we're excited about what's ahead and appreciative to all the guys that have been a part of this whole season, and then the guys that were part of the game here tonight that played their last game as Trojans. It's been a great group, been a lot of fun to coach, been a lot of great memories throughout the year, and I think just there's the locker room right now it's sad to see a lot of these guys go, and also there's just so many guys, especially tonight with all the guys that got to play. There's a real sense of purpose in that locker room right now, and we'll be excited to get back to work. So thanks to the Alamo Bowl. It really was a tremendous week. They treated us awesome. Heck of a game, and we'll go questions from there.
For questions, please raise hand and direct it to the coach or one of the players one at a time, please. First question, center.
Lincoln, can you just tell us what you saw on that final play? What went wrong, and maybe just in the fourth quarter and overtime, what changed with the defense? Seemed like the third quarter they were much better than they ended up in the fourth.
Yeah, and we got off to a good start, obviously, in the overtime. I mean, we had them backed up to a third and extra long, and where it was going to be a pretty tough field goal even at that point. And I thought Henny made a really nice call, and we missed a couple of tackles. I mean, in just a very inopportune time. So. Give the guy credit from TCU, made a hell of a run, but wasn't a lot of times this year that we missed multiple tackles, on a play, and it just happened in kind of the worst time possible when we really had a great call and forced them to check it down. I mean, we did everything right defensively to put them in that position, and we just didn't finish the play. And but the same thing happened offensively. Obviously, got down there on the 2-yard line and wasn't able to run the football in, and had a lost yardage play. We probably would have gone for it had we not had the lost yardage play. It got just a little bit too far out. But that was kind of the tale of the game. Again, we fought. We made a lot of big plays. We had a couple of, unique calls that just didn't quite bounce our way. But we just did not execute good enough in the red zone either side of the ball. And if we'd done that, then it's probably a different feeling right now.
Front row, please.
Coach, you mentioned Henny making the call. Danton was here. When did you decide to roll with Henny as the defensive play caller, and just what changed? Why wasn't Danton calling the defense tonight?
Yeah, Henny did a great job. The staff rallied around him, and there was a lot of energy with the guys, and the other part of it I'm not going to share details on.
We go front row, please.
Jide, what's your relationship like with Coach Henny, and what was it like having him call the defense tonight?
So, I love Coach Henny. He's a great defensive coach, great defensive line coach, and, he's always talking about, when your time is ready to step up and fall back on your training. And, the time was called for him, and he stepped up and, was the play caller on defense, and he did an amazing job.
Question back to the front.
Lincoln, with Dan leaving, how do you just generally feel about the state of this defense going forward, and what are you looking for in terms of the next defensive coordinator to take that job?
I feel fantastic. We've made, obviously documented strides the last couple of years statistically, but then those that really study the game and watch the way that we've played and the way that we've been able to improve, the arrow is just pointing straight up. And I think, for us right now, the opportunity to make a hire, to continue to make us better, and to go from being a very good defense to being a great defense is the goal. And I mean, we have the personnel to do it. We're on an upward trend, and there's going to be a lot of interest in this job. I mean, this will be a extremely coveted job. And I can already tell by the nature of what my phone's been like the last couple of days. And so, it's kind of like, I know I described to you guys a little bit when I first got here. When I first got here, there was a few of us that believed in it, but it was putting together a staff, had some challenges too, because I think a lot of people were still a little skeptical about, is SC really that all in? Are they really going to invest? Are they really serious about being great in football again? Everybody knows the history, but it's like, what it had done for a few years and had been a little stagnant. And I think each year as this has gone on, when we've had an opportunity to go make a hire, it's gotten easier each year. And the pools have gotten bigger. Our ability to go get great people to bring into our program to help make us better has just gotten higher and higher. And I can already tell that with this. And so yeah, it'll be a fun process to go through, and we'll, I definitely don't want to press reset, 'cause I think we've made a lot of improvement, and we've got a hell of a defensive staff in there, and their ability to rally on short notice tonight, I think, was evident. And but I'm excited about the process, and I think I think it's going to make us better. I know it will. So we'll wake up tomorrow morning and we'll get on it.
Question, Red.
Hey, Coach, despite the tough loss, Jaden Richardson had an incredible play, catching probably one of the best catches I've ever seen. What was it like kind of seeing a guy who didn't necessarily get the ton of targets during the regular season come out and make a play as big as that one?
Yeah, that was awesome. That was definitely one of the highlights of the night. And not just his, it was a tremendous play, but I think so many guys that have been kind of behind the scenes, maybe they only played a few snaps through the year, or we had guys that were, full-time scout teamers that had never even played tonight that came in and got a lot of burn against a quality team in a fun environment. So, yeah, and it was awesome to see him make that play, and a lot of other guys step up and make plays, and it energized our team and our sideline. And, Jay Rich is just one of those guys you can't have enough of, man. He's all about the team, all about the Trojans, all about what he can do. And I think, for him to make that big a play in a critical moment was an awesome moment for him, and a good message to everybody on our roster. You keep plugging away. You never know when your opportunity is going to show up.
Lincoln, obviously, Jaden had a career year. What do you say to your starting quarterback, at the end of that game, just based on how things went and in the locker room, to kind of get his mind right for the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously grown a lot, but there's still going to be so much more growth left. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm proud of the progress that he's made, but we know in that room what the standards are, both for us as a staff and at this school. And so, we're going to continue to strive to get there with all the guys in the room. So, yeah, I love the room. So, really enjoy coaching Jaden. He's gotten a lot better. And we'll be looking forward to make a jump with him and the entire room going into next year.
Final two questions, front row. First in the middle.
Lincoln, without Makai and Jacoby out there, how did you see Tanook kind of take ownership of this game?
Yeah, he stepped up, made some big plays. He was awesome. Made some really tough competitive plays down the field. I think he gained a lot of confidence after the Oregon game and kind of the show he put on in that game. And yeah, it was fun to see him kind of rise up in that moment and kind of assume that role. So he was pretty unguardable tonight, to be honest. The only times they really guarded him was when they tackled him. So, yeah, he did a great job. He's going to be a hell of a player here.
Front row, final question.
Lincoln, I sense the optimism in the future. If you could talk about, obviously, tough loss tonight, but the recruiting class you have coming in, the facility you guys are about to build it, what gives you hope that this team will be in the college football playoff soon?
I think all those things you just said, but honestly, kind of how our locker room was, 10 minutes ago. you can just tell, you know, and when you've been in those programs and been a part of those teams that have done those things, you feel what it's like. And this place is doing all the things that you need to do to put yourself in position to go bust that door down and do it. So, you know, I really believe a window here has opened up that's taken a lot of effort by a lot of people, a lot of commitment by a lot of people for fun but really challenging years to get it open, and it's open now. And we all feel that, all of us that are fortunate enough to be able to come back here next year, because it's not our right. Coaching or playing, working at USC is not anybody's right. It's a privilege, and those of us that have the privilege to be able to come back, we know what our job is. It's to make all the efforts of all those people the last 4 years worth it, and that's what we're going to do.
Thank you, Lincoln, King, and Jide, for your time tonight and all week.